Welcome to Tanked Up, the podcast about video games and craft beer. I'm Ben. I'm here with Lucy.
Hello.
Hey.
It's another special one today.
Is it?
It is.
Why is that, Lucy?
Because Adele's not here. No, it's because it's your birthday.
Hooray!
Hooray.
Oh, in all of my excitement, I knocked my headphones out. Ridiculous.
Yeah, we have to bear with him nowadays. His reflexes aren't what they used to be.
That's it. I'm getting old. I was saying this to Kim the other day because previous Tanked Up member Alex Malpass, he messaged me saying that he was thinking of getting the new Black Ops. And have I got it? What did I think? Was I going to get it so we could team up and play some zombies and stuff?
Yeah.
And Kim said, stick it on your Christmas list. I'm like, mate, my reflexes are definitely slower than they were. Like, I don't really want to be shot in the face and be called a cunt by a 12-year-old.
Not anymore. I mean, you used to
anymore.
Want to, but but not anymore.
Fine.
Times have changed. Yeah, I remember when Call of Duty coming out used to be an event for me every year, but this year it just came and went, and it's like, it came out, did it? And it's like, I can't. I'm just too old. I didn't get last year's. Infinite. I've always just played the story, like the last 5 years at least. The last one I got into was multiplayer. Was the one after Black Ops. Was that Modern Warfare 3?
3 maybe.
I think I got into which is the one that went jumpy, shooty. Was that Black Ops 2 or?
That was Black Ops 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I dabbled a little bit of that, but otherwise, no. Just too old.
Yeah. I mean, the pinnacle of sort of my play really was the first Black Ops.
Same.
That just seemed to come out when I had mad reflexes and skills and
ample time.
That's very true. A lot of time.
Yeah, I probably put like 300 hours into that game. It's like I still play it online now, now and then, through backwards compatibility. So that's cool.
Yeah,
but,
nice. Yeah, I don't know whether I'd go back to it or not. Anyway, let's crack open some beers. What are you going to drink first, Lucy?
I am going to drink a Northern Monk Patrons Project beer. I really like this can art.
That's a nice can.
Reminds me of Hollow Knight art.
Yeah. So
it should be good, like Hollow Knight. It's in collaboration with Finback and James Butler. Finback's, I think they're an American brewery that everyone hypes about.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had their beer before, but this one caught my eye. It's 3.05 in the series. It's a double IPA, 8.2%, and it's a Mosaic edition. So that's what I was looking for. But it's called Once, Twice, 3 Times a Whale. A whale on it.
Okay.
That's a nice thing to call a lady.
Yeah. Doesn't really
It's not quite ringing off the. Yeah. I prefer Lionel's version a bit better.
That is definitely a bit better. Yeah. Nice. Whilst you open, I'm gonna start with a which is collaboration from Northern Monk and Wylam. It is a double dry hopped Brut IPA.
Isn't it Magic Rock?
Who did I say?
I think you said Northern Monk.
Oh, fuck no. See, it's cold. My brain is broken. Yes. And even if I did say Northern Monk, I'm sat here looking at the bloody label where it says Magic Rock as well.
Yeah, I think I had that a few days ago.
It's something just... I drank far too much Jägermeister last night. I'm going to burn that.
Okay. So you've got you're old, you're cold, and you're hungover.
Exactly. I need this beer. Let's have a look. It has got Golden Promise, Marisotta, malts, T90, Lemon Drop and Mandarina Bavaria. Cryo is Laurel and Citra. The yeast is WLP001 at 6.5%.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
thought I'd go for something a little bit more special for the birthday. So
Yeah, mine's I'd call that straw coloured. It's very light, completely cloudy, completely hazy. Can't see through that at all. It's got a nice, I'd say, one finger, quite bubbly, frothy white head. A little bit of lacing.
yeah,
In terms of flavour, well, aroma first. Definitely getting like a large hit of like mosaic. I wonder if they put any mention of any other hops on it, but no, it just says hops. But
just hops.
yeah, just like that citrus, centennial, all those like that very fruity, citrusy aroma.
Yeah,
Drinking it, it starts out what I was hoping for, like juicy, a bit dank, quite citrusy, quite fruity. At the end, it's like instead of it's a double IPA, it's 8.2%. Instead of going into like a quite sweet and I don't know heavy finish, it goes like the other direction. It's quite light and it's got like a
okay.
It tastes like light cheese, like quite a light sweetness to it. Like if you have a light cheese, it's quite watery, but it's quite sweet as well. It's got that kind of finish on it.
That's interesting.
I think I would have preferred if it was just like a more bitter finish.
Yeah.
Rather than going light and sweet. I don't know if that's to like pair off, like or just pare down the alcohol. Because I am starting to feel it in like the top of my chest, like that 8.2%.
Yeah.
You can feel a slight burning from it. I don't know if that was in the intention of trying to level that off, but I think I would have just preferred like a bitter finish. But it's very hard to do when you dealing with so much like a high ABV. But otherwise, I mean, I'm not getting a lot of mosaic in the flavour. Not much of that, what I like to say, like kind of lavender kind of taste to it, but it's not a bad beer. It's just when I see mosaic on the can, it says mosaic edition. Don't know if they've done other editions, but I don't know. It's very nice, but it's not. It's not reaching my level of expectation, especially with the Hollow Knight cannot.
It threw you off. You're like, well, beer of the year, obviously. It's ready for it.
Yeah, I'll keep sipping on it, see if my mind changes.
Yeah. Okay. So the is maybe a little more. It's got a slight orange tone to it, but it's very sort of, it's not hazy as such, but I can't see through my glass. Nose was super citrusy. A little bit of lemon, maybe a little more edging towards orange or tangerine, something like that as well. The lacing didn't stick around on the glass very much, and there wasn't much head on there at all when I poured. In the flavour, that Brut kicks in straight away and lasts sort of the whole flavour through. The citrus notes, a little bit of lemon, as I say, and again, the orange from the nose are both coming through in the flavour. It just kind of starts off with a little bit more bitterness, perhaps, which is maybe the Brut kind of kicking through. Yeah. And that lasts the entire time. And I expected it to be maybe a little bit drier than it is as well, with it being Brut.
That's exactly what I thought when I drank it. It's like a lot of the Brut IPAs that I've had, it's like, oh, it's juicy and it's like a definitive cut-off point and it just like drops and it's like, yes, completely just dry afterwards. This one had more of a lingering wetness than I expected.
It does, definitely. Which is nice. As you say, a lot of the Bruts kind of, you're reaching for it constantly because you're drying out. This wetness allows that flavour to linger a little bit more, and for it to kind of develop a little bit more on your palate. So now, 20, 30 seconds after I drank it, I'm still getting that this very light kind of bitterness kicking in. Those citrus notes have gone, the fruit's kind of gone, but that kind of that Brut is sat at the back of my mouth as well, which is nice. It's being being an IPA, it's kind of quite, even though it's chilled, it's been in the fridge, it's not a kind of like a refreshing light cold beer. This is actually giving me a little bit more warmth, I suppose, if you know what I mean, just from the flavour, perhaps. So I have to see how it goes as well. It's nice to start, definitely.
Yeah, it's just weird. When I was drinking it, I was like, I haven't had many Brut IPAs, but just from the few I was expecting, it's kind of a novelty beer in the fact that it's like, probably if people didn't, know how to do this, the science behind it or whatever, probably no one would brew it. And it's like, just because it's, a bit of a craze, and it's like, ooh, how much of the sugar can we, like eat with that? I don't know the science behind it. Is it like some enzyme they put in it to eat up all the sugar so it's completely dry at the end? I think that's what it is. But it's like, I think it was like a race to like how dry can we make this taste. But because that one doesn't do it to such an extent, it doesn't make it a bad beer. It just
not at all.
It doesn't continue on that novelty. Why you probably pick up a Brut IPA, but yeah, I don't think we'll be hearing about these beers in a year's time, to be honest.
You think stuff like juice bombs, have stuck around. People are experimenting a lot more with sours, with different styles, with mixing sours in with other stuff. I don't know whether the Brut craze is might kick around until maybe the new year, and then it'll sort of possibly disappear.
Taper off, yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? Someone might really like using it and want that in all of their beers,
Perhaps, yeah.
Maybe.
Sweet, sorry.
Exactly. Let's drink these and let's talk about some video games. We said last week that we would probably be on the Red Dead Redemption 2 train, which we both are. But I wanted to start with another game that I've played a little bit of, which is Party Hard 2.
Oh, yeah.
I think, I can't remember that both of us spoke about the first game on the podcast when it came out last year before, perhaps.
I don't remember speaking about it on the podcast, but I did enjoy it for what it was.
Yeah. So, I'm definitely enjoying Party Hard 2 as much as I enjoyed the first game.
Okay, that's good.
If anyone doesn't know what it is, it's not quite isometric. It's almost like a slightly top-down, slightly side-on. It's like almost like 3/4 perspective, almost
Zelda.
Looking towards. Yeah. Almost, yeah. Where you are a killer roaming around a party, having to basically either kill everyone or complete certain objectives within a mission, kill a certain amount of people. And I'm stuck on the second level. It's hard. Party Hard 2 is hard. I don't know whether it's because I'm trying to like game it as much as possible. So I don't just want to walk around, stab someone, hide their body. I want to go around and set like traps for them, make different speakers and things explode by messing around with them and stuff. So I'm kind of getting caught a lot because I'm doing stuff like in front of people. People know who I am. I'm trying to run away from the police and not getting very far. So I must have played maybe the second level maybe 10 times now. And it's one of those where I know that I could just stab the guy, put him in the bin. It's just not how I kind of want to play the game, and it's fine if that is how you want to play because it's there for you. But there's all these other aspects to it in terms of trying to be sort of like creative that I kind of want to get into, and I think the more that I failed this, the more that it's pushing me to get creative and to experience kind of like everything on the map, and it reminds me very much of Hitman. It's a very similar kind of premise. You're there to kill somebody, and you can, whilst with Hitman you can kind of dress up and do things in a very open kind of way. Party Hard just kind of strips it down a little bit, and just allows you to kind of break the jukebox so people get electrocuted by it, or pour flammable liquid all over the floor and then set it on fire so people just all burn to death. I mean, it's quite brutal in what it's doing.
It's like 2D and pixelated, so the gore's not as in your face. It's like, well, there's not much gore.
No, it's
Manhunt or something like that.
Yeah. It's upped its graphical game as well, so it looks a little bit better, looks a little bit sharper. Okay. But still leaning into that like pixel art look to it. So again, it doesn't make it too gory. It's not lifelike. Everything is a small kind of pixelated 20 pixel character just sort of like bopping around or something like that. So I need to spend more time with it just to see kind of how the game progresses, what they throw in, and there's a story line with this as well that's kind of running through. So it's definitely grabbed my attention at the start of this week, but I just haven't had the time with it yet. So
remind me, do you have to kill everybody in the level to progress?
I think in the first game you did. I think
I can't remember.
With this one, you get objectives. So the second level. You go in and it says kill 6 drug dealers, kill 6 bikers, and I think that's it. To progress to the next level, that's all you have to do. But there's optional sort of goals as well, which I think is like steal the money from the safe is one of them, and there's some hidden ones as well. So you might trigger it as you're doing something around the level. So there's this kind of this meta game going on as well, where the more objectives that you do, the more you progress up in like certain areas. So like through stealth and progressing, doing the things that are stealthy, you progress up through stealth, and during the course of you playing the game, you'll hit a certain marker, and all I can see at the moment are little like presents, little gift boxes along the bottom of these bars. So I don't know what any of them unlock yet because I haven't progressed enough to be able to see. Don't know whether it's things like outfits or you start the level off with a weapon, perhaps. So I got no idea yet.
Yeah, because that was the perks of the last game. You can unlock new characters, stuff like that. But so compared to the last game, are there more inventive ways to kill people? Have they?
So they've thrown crafting in as well. So I picked up a bottle of beer and had in my hand like a jerry can full of fuel. And just crafted a Molotov, which I was then just able to just chuck into the room at a load of people. So it's opened it up definitely. I mean that's the only one so far that I've crafted. I think I can't remember. The first level was pretty quick. I did that one pretty swiftly, so I'm sure it will open up even more, with different weapons and things like that you can craft, or traps or bombs or whatever. So it does seem like it's pushing to be a little bit more kind of inventive and open it up a little bit. Too. Obviously, there's still, you're at a party, so you can still go up and like sabotage speakers, which will then just kind of like explode and take everyone out around in a small radius. So much more investigation needs to be had.
Another question for you, because what I found about the last game is that sometimes it would be a bit, ambiguous, like when people used to spot you and like see around corners and stuff like that. Is that a bit more clear cut? Is it a bit more forgiving, or is it? So a bit janky in that.
I don't remember in the first game, but with this one, if someone sees you murdering someone, you get a line like that shows, like links that character straight to you, so you can see how they've seen you, and it will pop up usually with like a little phone next to them, which means they're going off to phone the police. So I had a few times where I've killed people that I thought it may have been in eye line of someone else, and it's a little bit. It seems a bit forgiving in that regard.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was stood. The wall was here. And I was stood literally here and just knifed the guy, thinking that someone just there would see it, and they didn't. And I don't know whether that's because they're facing the other way, they're looking the other way, and if they'd have turned, they'd have been able to see it and stuff. So again, sort of playing more will reveal that a little bit more, I think, as well.
Because that was certainly one of my complaints in the first game, because it had that pixelated look, and it's a bit, you know, fuzzy, and it's like, is this person looking at me? How do they see me and stuff like that? But yeah, maybe they've ironed it out in this game, made it more forgiving. But yeah, more investigation required.
Yes, definitely. It still does have the dance button, so you can just sort of sit there and just stand on the dance floor, just dancing, and people run over to you like, you're really good at dancing. Like, I'm gonna kill you in a minute.
Yeah, and it can be like there's no one else left at the party, and there's obviously a killer there. And you're just dancing away. It has a good level of humour, that game. But in the first game, I remember there was quite a decent variety in like the different parties. Like there was like rooftop parties, like one out in the woods or something like that.
Yeah.
Just have ridiculous things like setting a bear loose on people and stuff like that. So yeah, it's quite bizarre and light-hearted, and even though you're just murdering innocent people at a party.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to try that out.
Yeah, definitely do. It's fun, really fun. So Lucy, we'll move on. Before we get into Red Dead 2, what else have you played? Have you been able to play anything else, or has Red Dead stolen all of your time?
No, put Red Dead on a bit of the back burner, to be honest. But I just finished playing before we started recording Undertale. So I'll briefly speak about that because I think everyone knows about Undertale at this point. I think it came out in 2015, 16, something.
Yeah, it's got to be a couple of.
Yeah, I remember it came out late in the year. I think in like 2015, like December time or something like that. But everyone was going mad on Twitter about the developer of Undertale, Toby Fox. I think it came to light that he released like the first part of like Undertale 2, which is called something else, like Undertale backwards, whatever the hell that spells, or something. Deltarune or something like that. I think he's as a free download released the. I don't know if it's the complete game. I don't think it is because that would be weird. But yeah, it's like free version of the sequel. It's probably just like shareware, like
maybe
put out the first like snippet of the game. People play that and then be excited for the sequel. I don't know.
Yeah, but it just give you like a 20-30 minute demo because Undertale's what, like a 3 or 4 hour game, something like that. It's
taken me. I think the final time was what's 270 minutes. That's just over 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours. Yeah.
But yeah, I was wondering why are people going absolutely nuts? And then I remembered, oh yeah, I have Undertale in my Steam library, so someone gave me a code for it. I was like, I'm gonna have to finally try this out because people have gone nuts, and I've never understood the appeal of Undertale. I don't know what it is, and it's like all I heard about it was like, oh, it's an RPG, and I was like, well, I'm out. But yeah, I mean, it's very charming, and I can't really speak to the story. I think where people really enjoyed this game was digging into the meta. It's like I know there's multiple endings. I mean, I completed it. I got a ending. I don't know if it's a good ending, bad ending. Well, it's definitely not the good ending. But it's like I don't know if it's a bad ending, neutral ending, happy ever after ending. I don't know. But I might, replay the last boss and just see what other ending I get if I choose something different. But I think where people got most enjoyment was digging into the story, digging into the meta and stuff like that. I'm not too much into that, especially in like a post Pony Island world where it's like I play Pony Island. That was more interesting in what it was doing than Undertale. Undertale might have even come out before Pony Island probably
I think it probably did, yeah.
I think Pony Island came out in 2016, so I'm guessing Undertale came out in late 2015. But I think, the writing's really charming, and I think just the way it, like turns like a turn-based RPG into like a bullet hell game. I found that really interesting, really novel, even 3 years on. So I enjoyed that aspect of the game, but I enjoyed it, but I haven't really got much more to say about it, because I'm not going to dig into lore, dig into the meta. I'm not too interested by it, by the story and stuff like that. I think it's a, well-crafted game, and considering them on like such a small scale, like one dude made it, it's very impressive. But same way I view, like, I don't know, Doki Doki Literature Club or even Pony Island, it's like, I enjoyed that for what it is, but I'm not going to go crazy over it.
Yeah, and it's completely fair.
But it's one of those cult classics, like
completely. Some people, as you say, really dug into it, and I think that came a lot through the, as you say, with the writing. But I think it's the way that the cast of characters were portrayed, and the kind of cutesy art style that it's got to it as well.
Very
just
basic,
made these,
but, charming,
it made all of those characters sort of very charming. They had personality. So I think people really sort of like latched onto it. I think I never finished it. I maybe dropped it after an hour, perhaps, something like that.
I mean, knowing it was short was very much a plus for me, because it's like I wasn't too interested in the story, and although I think the most interesting thing about it is how it subverted like the mechanics of an RPG, but after a certain number of hours, it starts somehow getting cliche within its own, within the same game, and it's like, okay, I've seen this. I wouldn't call it a gimmick, but I've seen this before. It's like, how many times can you do this? How many times can you subvert expectations and still be surprised by it? So if it was like a full-length RPG, I probably would have dropped it. So.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So there's only enough time for one giant game every several months, really, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, but it's interesting to, I suppose, to kind of go back to it, knowing that maybe something else is kind of on the horizon as well, or has partially been sort of teased or released, that something is kind of going on. Because it's a very well kind of, I don't know how it ends, but it always felt like it was like a nice sort of self-contained kind of game from what I'd experienced of it.
I imagine if you get like a good ending, it would be. I don't know how open-ended that ending is. I don't know, but I'm just glad I get to know like why people like it, what it is now. It's good, but I mean, unless you want to talk about Red Dead right now, I've got another game that I play.
Oh no, go for it, yeah.
And it's the sweary game.
Oh yes, The Missing.
Yes, it's got
loads of other words.
Yeah, it's got like what is it, JJ Macfield and the Island of Memories?
Fuck knows.
The Missing, JJ Macfield and the Island of Memories, or something like that. Times 2 squared, like Kingdom Hearts stuff. I don't know.
0.1.
It's the new sweary game, which came out of nowhere. I think his development studio is called White Owls. But yeah, this game came out of nowhere. It just dropped like 2-3 weeks ago. Like, okay, I need to play this new sweary game because he's weird. But for those who don't know, and who probably can't find it on the store because it's like 1 billion characters long, it's a side-scrolling puzzle platformer with a kind of... I don't want to give away the central mechanic and like the main thing behind it, but I'm gonna have to. I mean, you know what it is, Ben. It's like if you watch a trailer for it, or what, possibly, I don't know if it's in the trailers, but It's very like macabre and demented in its kind of gameplay and atmosphere and presentation. You're basically this person called JJ Macfield, and they are on this island. At the very start of the game, you get in a little boat, go to this island. I think it's probably set in like, I don't know, Northwest America, or maybe somewhere in, I don't know. So it's somewhere in America, because Swery has a fascination with like American culture, and like like from Deadly Premonition and that D4 game, which had people speaking in like Boston accents, which is just bizarre. But yeah, and you basically go to this island with this girl that you like, possibly your girlfriend, called Emily, and she goes missing, and you basically enter this hellscape where this moose man comes and it does something weird to your body or something. But basically, the whole central mechanic of the game and the gameplay is introduced pretty early on. After you've just had a grip of like the controls. They're very simple and rudimentary controls. It's like one button for push, one for jump, and one for, well, just moving left and right and stuff like that. But it's basically having to like mutilate your body with objects in the environment in order to complete puzzles. So, for example, one of the first examples you get to is like getting knocked by a swinging like boulder will snap your neck and basically turn the world upside down. And I'm not going to give away any more ways. The game just gets completely weird and strange, but yeah, it's basically putting the main protagonist through hell and just completely crumpling and dismantling and contorting her body in weird ways in order to solve puzzles. But I think it's a really, really, really interesting and novel way to like do a like side-scrolling puzzle platform, which has been done to death by so many people. It's like it's only Swery could come up with some weird crap like this, and it's like as you go through like the story, you unlock. There are collectibles on the way, like most of these games, in the form of like donuts. Don't ask.
Yeah, I saw
like,
that.
Yeah, the most happy, cheerful food on earth, and it's like in this weird hellscape. But it basically unlocks like concept art for the game, which is really interesting. And you just scrolling through this concept art. I don't usually look at like concept art. I'm not too interested in it, even though it's very interesting in terms of a development standpoint. But I had to look at this one because it's just like, what is going on in this dude's mind, and just like all the it's like all these anime drawings of this character, and it just slowly devolves into like, oh yeah, how am I going to torture this woman? Let me draw pictures of like her getting her neck snapped and stuff like that. And it's just like you can just literally unwind the thought processes behind this strange human being, and it's fascinating. But what I didn't expect was that this game got like a really meaningful and deep, heartwarming story to it.
That's good. That's the one thing I was going to sort of ask about, whether there's some kind of like underlying narrative behind it.
There is.
With his sort of obsession with America, everything sort of seems a little bit to sway kind of that way.
Yeah.
But I can't see that with this game, really.
No, it's something completely different. It's at the very start of the game, you open it up and it's basically a message saying no one should be persecuted for who they are. And I'm not going to get into the story because I think it's better off experienced on your own, but it touches on some, heavy subject matter, and it's
nice.
And even in a game that's like quite, I wouldn't say cartoonish, but very, like out of this world and extraordinary in terms of its gameplay, and you're basically mutilating this poor person. It manages to like balance the line between having a very heartfelt and somber story, and
Yeah.
having an absolute crazy kind of gameplay experience. I think it balances those things really well, which I wasn't expecting like at all. And yeah, I really didn't expect that from this game, but it's got a really nice story, really nice message to it, and
Good.
that's what propelled me along. I mean, it's only about 5 hours long, but probably in like the last hour and a half, I was like, I really need to see this through to the end, just because of the story. So yeah, I'd check it out. It's on basically everything: Switch, Xbox, PS4, PC. So yeah, honestly, check it out. It's
super expensive everywhere except PS4.
Yeah, it's cheaper on PS4, which is bizarre. It's like £4 more on every other platform other than PS4. And I played it on PS4. There was some slight frame rate drops, like a lot of the times, you know, like these games, like when you're moving on to like a next section of the game, there's a very slight chug just between like the intersections. So, but other than that, it runs absolutely fine. And yeah, I think it's a good demonstration of what you can achieve with probably on a small budget. I imagine they're on a very small budget, because the art style, I really like the art style. It's got like, you know, like this anime character, and it's contrasted on like a background of just like it's, what does it remind me of? Sort of reminds me. Have you ever played that game? Was it called Deadlight? The zombie side-scrolling one.
No, I didn't play it. It's on my, I think it's been on my like Steam wishlist for absolutely ages, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me like of that sort of presentation, that art style, like having things in the background and like that kind of, is it parallaxing or something like that, and just it's really good. Check it out. The Missing, JJ Macfield Island, Mary.
Words.
Yeah.
Because I know, talking about like the budget, I know he's working on another game as well, isn't he? I don't know whether it's the same
cat
studio
game, isn't it?
or it's some kind of cat journalist game or something like that.
Yeah, it looks alright. I'll play it just because he, you know, that guy's weird and he makes art to the highest degree. Yeah, and the ending on this game got weird as well. So which is to be expected, because it's a sweary game. Yeah.
Why,
I was like, this is despite all the mutilation and stuff like that, I was like, this is, you know, averagely normal for a sweary game. It's like, oh no, at the end, prove me wrong.
You got to expect it, really, don't you?
Yeah.
You got to expect it to just, you know, just knock it out completely.
Yeah.
You're like, this is what you're expecting. We could have taken it in a different way.
Yeah.
We've just thrown it over there.
Yeah.
Completely. You know, it's not even what you were thinking. It's gone. It's completely gone.
It's like it's got this ending. I was like, oh, okay, it's going to end there. It's like, no, here's another half an hour of just weirdness. And I was like, okay. It's not a sweary game unless your jaw is literally on the floor at the end of it.
Brilliant.
Where's the other 3 episodes of like D4, by the way?
I don't think they're coming.
No.
I think that was canned.
Yeah.
Another game I didn't play, but one I sort of saw a lot of kind of criticism about, I suppose. That it was just very unfinished, almost. That it didn't control very well. That it was just a bit off.
I don't even know what to say about that game, to be honest. It was just weird in, like, you know, when something's just so bizarre and you'd have no idea what's going on and everything like that, but to the point where it's just great.
Yeah.
That was the
Nice.
It's like, I have no idea what's going on. This is just... And the thing is, like, even if those 4 episodes would have come out, nothing would have been explained. You know, nothing at all. It's like, I probably know as much about D4 as what Swery did, which is probably nothing. You know? I just remember this weird woman that was dressed as a cat. Like, he must have a thing about cats.
Oh, yeah, that's just now turned into a different game. So
yeah.
But now I'm done with this idea. I just make another game about cats. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna worry about it. It's one that I definitely want to check out. I think it's.
Yeah, wait till it goes on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think from everything I'd seen, it's definitely one of those a sale game. I think. So yes, but I will
You can
check
pick it
out.
up for a tenner, absolutely. Yeah.
Nice. Good. Well, that's it. Is that everything the two of us?
Yeah. I mean,
That's it.
considering Red Dead came out, I think finishing 2 games.
That's pretty good. Considering you'll never finish Red Dead, that is very good. You know. So.
Yeah. Ever.
Shall we crack open another beer before we jump into Red Dead Redemption 2?
Why not?
I'm trying to take the little label off of my ring pull so it doesn't get in the way of the pour.
Yeah. You crack yours open, I'll
Okay.
a little bit more
So, this will probably lead us onto a chat before Red Dead. I am drinking an Impy Stout from Mad Hatter. It is a 10% stout. We have made you a beast of a beer with Wylam. I didn't even realise that. Both Wylam beers as well. A 10% imperial stout that will feed your imagination and delight your taste buds. Remember what the Dormouse said. It's called feed. It's called feed your head.
What did he say?
He
What did the Dormouse say? Is that what he's saying? Okay.
Feed your head, mate.
Dormouse is oh crap!
It's Alice in Wonderland, Mad Hatter, isn't it? So
I had a stout, but I realised I grabbed the wrong can. Never mind.
Just have that one. It'll be fine. So this week, Mad Hatter announced that they weren't going to be brewing anymore.
They're out of the game. Getting out of the game. Yeah, I think they said it was just like their heart wasn't in it anymore.
Yes.
Creatively, the passion wasn't there and stuff like that. So, as we both agreed, get out whilst you're not, not in the red, not spiraling out of control in a negative way. So yeah, but someone you did offer we are selling.
Yes, it did. I mean, I did see that this Imperial Stout and the previous beer I had, which was it like a strawberry IPA, like milkshake beer that I had a few weeks ago. They're the first 2 Mad Hatter beers that I'd seen for a while. And I say a while, it must have been maybe a good 9, 10, maybe even a year.
Okay.
That I hadn't seen something from them. So it was a bit interesting that suddenly they're back with a couple of beers and then they're gone again. So I thought I'd pick this one up, to have to toast them, I suppose. Yeah. They depart from the scene. But yes, Lucy, what are you going to drink?
Yeah, I was going to drink a blueberry stout.
Okay.
From Dark Revolution, but maybe that can wait a week.
The winter is not going anywhere. You'll be fine.
Unfortunately not. Yeah. No. But this is another beer from Dark Revolution, and it is called Delirious, which is a double IPA, 8.2%. I've had this beer, and I did like it, but I shall drink it again and share my views on the podcast. But the flavour text is deceptively strong with an intense hop character, highlighted by notes of citrus and pine. Well-balanced bitterness and a dry finish, generating an exceptionally quaffable double IPA. Yeah, nice. It doesn't give you any mention of hops that are in it or anything like that, but yeah.
What percentage was it?
8.2%.
What was the last one? Because that was up about 8.2 as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's 8.2 as well. So at least we've got like symmetry there, but it's slightly hazy, but it is fairly clear. It looks like a lager. It's got like 2-finger, very white, very bubbly head. Just slightly dark straw colour. It looks like a lager, but guarantee you it's a double IPA.
Yeah.
Giving much on the aroma though. No, not getting anything on the aroma.
Really? Okay.
Maybe there's some yeast at the bottom I'm not getting. Trying to remember, did I smell anything the last time I had it? No, still the same. There aren't like bits of yeast floating around in it now.
No.
So yeah, there was a bit of yeast at the bottom, but hasn't really
Not kicked
changed
up a
much.
lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, still quite clear. Still not much of an aroma.
Okay.
But, how's yours looking?
Well, it is. It's as dark as you kind of would expect. It's got a lovely sort of. It's an odd kind of colour to describe because it's not a white head. It's got this sort of browny, almost sort of light chocolatey coloured kind of head to it. It smells, I mean, as you kind of would expect with a stout, a little bit sort of roasted. But there's something else there that I'm not quite picking up on, or I can't quite discern in the nose as well.
Okay.
Flavour-wise, it's nice and sweet, and it's that 10% kind of, you can feel that, but not on the initial taste. It's not part of that sweetness, or at least it doesn't appear to be part of that sweetness that you get when you instantly taste it. It mellows out quite nicely into a very kind of chocolatey roasted flavour. So a little bit of coffee, a little bit of chocolate in there. Possibly that sweetness is coming from something that's a bit more sort of chocolatey. But it reminds me a little bit of a chocolate liqueur, something like that, or like a coffee liqueur. So it has that kind of that sweetness that you get from a chocolate. It has that little bit of roasted sort of coffee in there as well. Mellows out with maybe a little bit of bitterness from sort of chocolate too. It's very dry. It's a lot drier than the last beer. And I want to go instantly kind of back to it. As I say, that 10%, it's there. It kind of is just underlying the whole way through. But goes, with that dryness, everything kind of goes quite quickly. And you're just left with maybe that kind of, just a roasted kind of flavour in your mouth, or a roasted sensation in your mouth. And that's about it, really. So everything fades quite quickly.
Oh, that's good. Because when you say like chocolate liqueur and stuff like that, chocolate liqueur is like really nice, but I don't drink it because it's like it's so sickly sweet, and it's like some stouts it's like, oh man, you just open it and you just smell it and you just know that it's going to be like overbearingly sweet, but it's nice that tempers off and like just has that nice those roasty. Is it slightly bitter notes as well?
Yeah, just a little bit, not too much, but very slightly. Yeah.
It's like I had a stout earlier today. Can't remember the brewery, but I just smelt it and I was like, oh no, it's gonna be so sweet. But actually drinking it, it was great. It was like not at all sweet at the end at all. It was like not watery, but very light at the end. Good beer.
Nice. I suppose like mouthfeel wise for this, it is a little, it's not thick. It's not quite viscous. It is a little more watery than I kind of would expect for the flavour.
Yeah.
But maybe that adds to that dryness. You're not getting that thick sort of viscous feel when you glow back that liquid for it to stick around. It's kind of a little bit more light, a little bit more watery to just sort of disappear quite quickly, I suppose.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
It is good.
10%.
It's very nice.
10%.
10% and going down absurdly quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Lucy.
What are you going to do?
Exactly. How does yours taste?
Yeah, it's exactly why I liked it. Was it last week or the week before when I had it? Coming off the Northern Monks one, it could feel like this is just like, oh. It could feel like you on a downward trajectory, but that's not the case at all. It's just because that this is just a very good even though it's a double IPA, it's a very traditional IPA. It's like citrusy at the start, very fruity, very citrusy.
Yeah.
And then it's got a lot of pininess, quite resinous as well, which I like. And then at the end, it's just a lot of bitterness. And I love like really bitter beers, so that's perfect for me. But yeah, it's great. It's what else can I say? It's just like a traditional IPA. You can't taste the 8.2% at all. I could easily knock this back. Probably best not to, but easily could. I'm tempted not to. Take it easy. But yeah, it's not a juice bomb. It's not being showy. It's not trying to do anything new, anything different. It's just a very good traditional IPA. So I think I gave it like 4.25 on my Untapped when I had it.
Okay.
It's just it's rare nowadays just to get something that's just yeah. We're here to make an IPA. We did it. We're not putting in blueberries, or even though they got a blueberry stout, they're not putting in like any weird crap in it. It's just a good old IPA.
Nice. I did have a beer earlier. That Croft Ales beer, new brewery in Bristol. They had a few beers in Bottles and Books, all the same one, which was the beer I had, which I think is called BS2. But as soon as I sort of started to drink it, I thought you would really like it. It's definitely a session ale, so it's like a little lighter in its flavour, but it's got this lovely bitterness to it that runs through it as well. So it's kind of, we're starting to get back into the season of things like stouts and porters and brown ales and stuff, where you want something a little bit more warm. But IPAs can kind of stick with that by giving us a little heft of bitterness with it as well. You know, occasionally you want something that's nice and light and refreshing, but more often than not, when it's this sort of cold, you want something that's got a bit more kind of body to it, really.
Body, bite.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes. Something else with a lot more body and a lot of bite. Red Dead Redemption 2, mate. You said earlier you put it on the back burner.
Yeah.
Is that just because you weren't enjoying it, or is it because it's so massive that you know you're just going to come back to it at some point?
Yeah, I was I'm interested to see what you thought about the. You're still in the very early stages of the game, but for ages, and I think this is like the common theme at most people, I was wondering if I was actually enjoying it.
Okay.
And I was awed by it, like from a technical standpoint and everything like that. But I was like, this isn't fun to play. But as soon as I started like learning some of the systems and learning, okay, this is the pace that the game is set. And it's basically saying, Lucy, if you don't like this, get the hell out, but this is how it's going to be played.
Yeah.
And once I came to that thought, I was like, yes, I'm enjoying this. And because it's so slow-paced, I'm going to end up putting a lot of time into this. Yeah. So the fact that it's on the back burner at the moment isn't through lack of enjoyment, quite the opposite. It's the fact that I just want to sit down and play this game for like 16 hours straight. And currently I can't do that because sadly I'm an adult.
Things to do.
Oh no,
sweary games to play.
Yeah, it's horrible. But even like on the weekend, it's like I want to watch rugby this weekend. It's like it doesn't take like precedence over Red Dead. It's just that this is a game where I want to sit down and just not have to think about anything else. Not think about I gotta file my VAT return tomorrow or something like that. I just want to sit down, not have to think about anything, and it's like I can just play it and get lost in it, because I found that my favourite thing about it so far, I mean, there's a lot of good things about it. I mean, there's a point where I couldn't tell between if it was actually real life that I was looking at, because it was just ridiculous. Playing in 4K and HDR. Anyway, there's so many good things about it, but the thing that I'm most enjoying, which I never enjoy in games for the most part, is just finding environmental storytelling and
Yeah.
finding things in the world, reading all the letters and poring over these details. It's like I can spend like 10-15 minutes just looking around a cabin and it's retelling a story. And it's like someone may never find this cabin. There's nothing to really interact with apart from maybe looting a few things in like some abandoned drawers or something like that. There's no story element to it. It's just we're telling a story. Someone probably spent, I don't know, 2 weeks of their life just thinking of this story, let alone telling the, art team to draw it. Not alone telling,
convey that through the environment. Not
alone pitching it to, I want this in this part of the map. Not even, this probably took months to put together just to have this tiny little area of the map that's completely telling a story, and it's just it's incredible. It's and I've come across some of those things of like telegraphed in like, oh, I just found this. I'm not going to spoil anything. I found this scenario out in the world. What should I do? Should I just listen to these people talk, or should I just gun them down? And I don't want to say anything, but in a case I gun them down, you'll probably come to it and be like, oh yeah, you'll probably know which part I'm on about if you ever come across it.
I mean, I love that it allows you the option, that it gives you different ways to be able to get around a situation. So, as you say, sort of, it's very similar to The Witcher in that you can just be riding along and some little event will happen and you can react to it in a certain way. And I was riding my horse along, galloping back to camp because I'd been away for a little bit. I'd done a few things, so I was galloping back to camp, and suddenly someone said something. I'm like, oh, who's this? So I slowed my horse down, and this guy, the other guy that he was with, was like, I wouldn't stop. And then they started giving me shit. And I'm like, oh, okay, blah, 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 blah. And then they start walking towards me. And I'm like, right, fine. And I just instantly dead-eyed it and just took them out. And, their horses ran off, and I looted them, and I got back on my horse and thought, well, that was, this is a nice little encounter that I've had. But, like, what the fuck are they doing here?
Yeah.
Just stood on the side of the road, not doing anything. The horses are, like, behind a rock. Like, have I now kind of, have I missed something? Were they here for a reason? Were they here to sort of rob someone, or were they waiting for somebody else? Could something have evolved from this?
Agreed.
It's just brilliant that it's kind of it leads very much into the story as you kind of do it. Yes, it may be a scripted event that it is here, but you can you can come across that at any point and react instantly to it. So it's so well crafted. It's so meticulously crafted. And I think you're absolutely right. The game instills into you. It's like everything has a consequence. Like if someone like antagonizes me, I try to defuse it because it's like I don't want to kill you. I don't want to kill you. Especially tying that into the bounty system as well. 'Cause that's the biggest consequence. If you do a lot of crap and commit a lot of crimes, you'll have a bounty put on your head, and bounty hunters will come after you. And it's actually quite unnerving, like being out in the woods, just randomly hunting or doing something else. And it's like it's dark. You want to just set up camp, just like the middle of night.
Yeah, it's really quite like I'm just like. I've never like just ridden through the night. It's like, okay, I gotta set up camp because grizzly bear's gonna pop up and kill me if I'm not careful. Right. And it's like bounty hunters come after you, and it's like it's very unnerving. So it's like I don't want to get a bounty on my head unnecessarily just from killing this arsehole. It's like real life in that way, but it's like I don't want to punch you in the face because I'm going to get in trouble, like, even though I don't want to.
I've not come up against it yet, the kind of like the bounty system and stuff. But it's something that I thought Assassin's Creed Origins got wrong
Okay.
was that you kill someone at some point, and because you've killed them, the what were they called, like Phalakatai or something like this,
Oh yeah, I've
are
heard
then
about
sent
this.
after you. But
They
they
just
only
pop up randomly, don't they?
well, no, they don't. They only roam a
not.
certain region,
Oh, okay.
and you can see on your map where they are.
Yeah.
So there was there a trophy or something unlocked at least for killing all of them? It was some kind of story thing. You maybe got an outfit because you've killed them all, but you could kind of take them when you wanted to and avoid them when you wanted to. And it was almost this kind of like, hey, these guys are a few levels higher than you. They're going to be a real challenge to take down.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but you've instantly taken the threat away because I know where they are at all times, and
you can
avoid
level
them.
up and go get them.
Exactly.
At your
And then suddenly I'm
leisure.
2 levels higher than them, and I can very easily beat them. It takes away that threat. Whereas from what I've seen, what you've said, and from what I've seen of Red Dead, and the kind of like that bouncy system, that threat is there.
Yeah, and it's
all
like
the time.
I only know sometimes that they're coming because I have on the mini map, and I think the best way to play this game would probably be to turn that off. But I don't have that kind of time. But
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, and the score is absolutely incredible in this game, and just when you know that they're near, and the like music changes, and it's like you can be out in the woods, just no music at all, just listening to like sounds of nature, and then that music starts swelling, and it's like, okay, trouble's afoot, and it's like it's once you get in a battle with them, it's a challenge though.
Good. Well,
You just want to avoid it at all costs. Yeah, it's like this consequence to being an idiot. But there's the other side of that. It's like the controls are they're convoluted only because that there's a lot to them. There's like probably about 10 different actions mapped to the same button.
Yeah.
Not all in the same scenario, but just in all the different systems, like so many buttons do so many different things. And it's like you can get a bit overwhelmed by that and do the wrong things. Like you can just pull out your gun and start shooting accidentally. It's like, or you can accidentally run your horse into a pedestrian, and it's like, assault! And it's like, you can't just track down that one person because you did it in the middle of a town and everybody saw it. And if you kill that person, everybody will see that. So it has its detriments as well, the bounty system. It's like, I only just like, I just was just found by this body. It's like, somehow, I said on the last podcast, this guy just like, he died, but it wasn't my fault. Yeah. And it's like, I was just near the incident as it happened. And now I'm in trouble.
But it's funny, like, I've done a couple of bounties, so I've gone out and found people for the sheriff.
Yeah.
Because that unlocks pretty soon after you get to sort of like the first town. And they've been really interesting. But on all of the posters, it kind of it says that they want them alive because they're wanted for questioning. And does the bounty system ever allow for that, or do the bounty hunters just turn up and just try and shoot you straight away?
They've never actually killed me.
Okay.
So I don't know. They killed my horse. I was very pissed off. But I've always been managed to fight them off. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it just restarts you again at some point if they do kill you.
Yeah.
Because there's no way they'd probably build in a system where it's like, oh yeah, they're going to take you in alive. That's just too convoluted. So it's probably
in jail somewhere waiting to get busted out, or your court date, your hanging date. Yeah.
But you might be able to surrender. I don't know. But I think it is very much wanted dead or dead. I think that's basically what it is. But it's so much to talk about this game, you know. It's just like there's so much to talk about, and it will be like over the next coming weeks, I'm sure, just scattershot with what we're talking about.
Yeah, completely. Little
I want
corner everywhere.
Yeah, I want to tread lightly because even when we've both finished this game, like the story wise, I think there'll still be things that you haven't seen or that I haven't
Yeah,
seen.
I would imagine so. Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, there'll be a statute of limitations on when we'll just be like, yeah, just talk about everything. It's like probably when I finish the story, I don't think I'll like spend too much more time in the open world.
Okay.
It's very hard for me to just like play a game after the credits roll. It's just a mental block. It's got nothing to do with the game itself. But just in terms of the story, like I think this is the best writing in a Rockstar game ever.
Yeah,
It's fantastic, and Arthur is like, he's wicked. Like I really like the character in like in all the promo materials and the trailers. I was like, oh, gotta play as this gruff dude again in a Rockstar game. Oh, I'm sick of this. But there's so much depth and nuance to his character, and there's like a very noticeable lack of satire in this game compared to like other Rockstar games.
Yeah, completely. It's very, very serious. I mean, it does have it has little elements of humor in the like exchanges between like gang members and stuff, you know, where they will kind of take the piss out of each other, or take the piss out of someone else between them, and that's kind of, you know, I suppose maybe as you would do, you know, with your friends.
Yeah,
it very much seems like you know, Arthur and Dutch's gang have been together and are on very familial sort of terms for, you know, an extended period of time, which obviously leans into the idea that they've been a gang for however long. But you feel that. You really feel that through the exchanges between them.
Yeah, like three of them are like the old guard, and everyone else has come through into the gang at certain times, like whether they're 6 years or 6 months into the gang. So yeah, it's there's a lot of different dynamics going on between everyone in the camp.
Yeah, and it's interesting how they've like dealt with John Marston as well.
I think it's brilliant. Yeah,
he's kind of the almost, at least from what I've seen in the first sort of, I say few hours. I played a little bit more than that, I suppose. But he's kind of the like prodigal son, but not. At least for Arthur, he's almost like whipping boy. Really?
Yeah, he's chucklehead compared to Arthur. It's like,
yeah.
You know, I've been in this gang since like, you know, I'm one of Dutch's original kids, and it's like, you've come in here and it's like, you're young, you're naive, and the writing was on the wall. It's like when you, I don't want to say anything. I don't know if you've got that far. It's like Arthur says something about John and his actions, and it's like, oh yeah, that actually plays out in the second game. You know, it's like Arthur was right all the time, because it's like he doesn't trust John. It's like John is just like, yeah, he's like that younger sibling that gets on your nerves, but there's love for him, but it's also like, I don't trust you, not yet at all.
But it's interesting to see the story from, you know, from both perspectives almost.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we know from Red Dead Redemption that John was kind of like co-opted by law enforcement to then go after the Van der Linde gang. So it's interesting seeing what his actual relationship with them was like for him, you know, and whether it would seem that was an easy kind of sway, or, you know, how that kind of works out. And the interesting relationship is also John with whatever his wife is called. Abigail, that's it.
Jack, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it makes me dislike John.
Yeah,
it's like, and it's not like, I mean, a lot of people love John. It's like I wasn't either way about him. You know, I was just like, I don't adore him or I don't hate him. He's just like a very good video game protagonist in Red Dead Redemption 1. But this game is making me like sway the other way. It's like not being neutral. It's like, okay, you're a bit of a dick. And it's like, that's interesting, that's good, because it's very like, much. You should feel a way about a character, whether it's very good or very bad or somewhere in between. It's just like, and this story is making me sway that way towards John. It's like, it's interesting.
I mean, it is very interesting. It's kind of
Gives more context and layering to his character.
It does, and it's very kind of Red Dead and GTA, like a lot of Rockstar games, are very kind of anti-hero. You're an awful fucking human. It's kind of like the things that you actually do.
Yeah.
But you are playing them out. So, any kind of like, it's one of those that you're like, people played Red Dead and absolutely love John. And it's like, hey, but actually, seeing John from another person's perspective paints him in a very different kind of light to how you have experienced him.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if you felt for him having to do these things because he was co-opted into doing them, and you just wanted him to be able to, like, be on the ranch with his family and all those sorts of things. It gives a little bit more context, obviously, for Jack as well. When you finish Red Dead Redemption, you get into Jack's boots and go out in the world. But it kind of gives a little bit of backstory for him as well, like growing up around this, and it's super interesting.
Yeah,
that they're able to kind of give you more information to that, to make you rethink how you felt about their previous game, almost, or how you felt about their previous characters.
Yeah, and it's not jarring at all. I know people are very like hesitant. Like, how are they gonna overplay John's role in like the second game? Is it gonna like get too much and stuff like that? But it doesn't. It seems completely natural, and that just ties into the fact that this is such a well-written game, and Arthur's such a well-written character. And like, even though he's an outlaw and he's killing people and he's doing these things, there's so much like depth and like caring to him, and it's like you can tell, like, say what you want about Rockstar and stuff like that, and all the troubled history that the studio's gone through. It's like this is Rockstar in the climate of 2018, which is a very different world to 2013 when GTA 5 came out, or something like that. Or like, I mean, obviously writing goes into it, from the start, and they obviously chop and change right until the end. But I think this game, and the way they've molded Arthur's character, it's very interesting in today's climate, let's say. Someone from, what's this, 1899, the game set?
Yeah.
He's an outlaw, he's from the West. He doesn't have the ideals that you'd imagine, let's say. He's very tolerable.
He seems very, at least from kind of like how it allows you to play him a little bit as well, he seems very not reluctant, but that he can kind of take or leave the outlaw kind of life. Slightly to the contrary, and a couple of things that he said to other characters in the gang, being like, no, this is what I do, sort of thing. You don't have to kill people. You can diffuse situations. You can walk away from everything almost. So it's very interesting that they're portraying this character, but you ultimately have that. You have the choice, really.
Yeah, but to speak to that, I think this is probably, a slight on the honor system as well, because the honor system, for people who don't know, it's like it's basically a slider. If you're good, slider goes more into the white. If you're bad, it goes slightly more into the red. And doing things like, I don't know, pickpocketing randoms on the street, or just randomly shooting people, that will bring your honor down, bring your honor up. Do things around camp, or be a good citizen in town. Stop assault, stop robbery, stuff like that. But I think the game itself, and to be fair, I think it says 48% for the game. I imagine that's just the story, obviously not everything else around the world. But the game is very much leading you in the direction. It's like, Arthur is this sort of person. We don't care how many people you kill in the story. Unless it changes dynamically. I doubt it, but unless it changes dynamically depending on how you've played the game,
Yeah.
I sincerely doubt it. But because then I have to record multiple cutscenes,
Yeah.
this and that. So they're definitely channeling Arthur in a very tolerable, like kind of disposition. It's like, you know, he cares about, even though he's reluctant in some of these things, he pushes back slightly. But you know, he's talking about women's issues, about race, about, you know, being a father figure, and just all these kinds of things. And it's like, this is like sometimes it does, like, it's very obvious in the message that they're trying to convey, and it's like, okay, we get it. Especially, like, you know, stuff that there is a character, it's like he's half Native American, half black. And they do just, like, okay, it's like we get these themes, they do bang it over your head slightly, but it's like they are very much trying to you know, like, shine a light on it in terms of a political standpoint.
Yeah, they're trying to address as almost kind of not as much as possible, but what they can within the kind of like the scope.
Yeah, and it's like Rockstar Games. It's just like how I thought about it was like how I think of South Park. It's like they offend everybody, so they're not offending anybody at the end of the day. It's like they're not taking sides; they're just being offensive to literally everyone under the sun. And that's always been Rockstar Games. It's like, okay, we're going to be offensive to both sides of the political spectrum, you know? And at the end of the day, we're just going to stay absolutely neutral, even though we're always making a statement on one, you know, both sides. But I think this game is very much going into a, you know, it's putting its, you know, the flag in the sand. It's like, this, who knows if it's Rockstar going forward, but it's the thing, this is the message we want to convey with this game.
Yeah.
And obviously that appeals to me, but might not appeal to others.
No, I mean, it probably should appeal to absolutely everybody. But
I like that. You're old now. You have no time to be around the bush.
I've got no time to do fucking anything, mate. Yes. I think just to finish off with my last comment. Obviously, I've got, you know, we've both got a ton of this game still to experience. But at the first opportunity, I have already made Arthur Morgan look like Matt Payne. Slash this. So he has a nice shaved head. His beard's not quite as full. He's only got maybe like 2 or 3 days worth of growth on the old beard. But I wandered into the saloon and there was the barber at the back. I'm like, oh, I'll go and have a look. I'll just see what the options are. And it came up and just said bald. I'm like, yep, done. This looks brilliant. I love that. Thanks.
I originally had like the Heisenberg beard, but then I realised that I turned my Arthur looks like a right hipster now.
Yeah,
massive beard, you know, chops,
big
shaved
glasses,
off, nice pomade hair, slicked to the side. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah.
Thing is, you've got all of this sort of stuff, and then you can just put a hat on, so you never see it anyway.
Yeah, I fought a guy in a bar and took his raccoon hat. That was great.
Wasn't the drunk guy talking about killing Native Americans all the time, was it?
Yeah, something like that. It was just like, you know, you're definitely getting beaten up. It's like, yeah, take your hat too.
Yeah. I left him alone. He collapsed on the table.
Oh, did he?
Like,
no, I'm like, you know what? I'm beating you. I'm taking your hat. No one did anything. They were all like probably standing there. I was like, you know what? Good job.
Yeah, I'd have done it. I'd have done it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've killed people who I don't agree with politically, and that must say that must say a lot, mate.
That's it. All Red Dead Redemption 2 lets you do is live your best life, mate. That's what it is.
That's why I love it so much. It's fulfilling the ultimate dream that
Oh dear. Good. As we've said multiple times this episode, you know, we're going to return to Red Dead Redemption 2. The more we play it, I imagine at some point in the future we may talk about maybe not the ending, but at least once we've both kind of experienced everything we want to experience from the game, talk about it as a like a whole package.
Yeah, because
So
there are definitely little things that just little instances that I'd love to talk about with you, and
yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
to do it yet, even offline, just because I want you to experience them yourself. So.
Yeah, and it is the scale, like it's a ridiculously huge scale, but it's that level of game that you kind of want to experience it all for yourself and to get as much out of it as possible.
Yeah, it's so immersive, and I think just the fact that they've been able to like just make everything seem so realistic is what draws you in, even though it can be a headache to play. I mean, I feel sorry for other people, like other developers, because everyone's going to think, oh, immersive means like photorealistic now, and everything's got to be realistic. It's like, no, that's not necessarily the case, but I think that's how they achieve it in this game, certainly.
I mean, immersive means being able to get your hair cut, doesn't it? And I suddenly saw, I don't know whether it was because Arthur became hungry because I hadn't given him any food for a little while, but it popped up saying, you can shift your body weight, or at least it will suggest that you can. It shows you that you're losing weight because you're not eating anything, or you're putting on too much weight. Building on the premise that you had CJ in San Andreas, and you could make him like massive fat CJ or super fucking skinny like rake CJ, like just building on that, and kind of you can see how Rockstar have built up to this game through all of their previous iterations. But yes, we'll talk more about that.
To be fair, in San Andreas, I only remember like making CJ like super skinny or super fat just because that's what his potential dates wanted. They were like, "You're too skinny." I was like, "All right then."
I remember taking CJ to the gym and just fucking doing the little gym mini games, and he was just fucking massive and just like Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's what I did. I made him like really muscular and really fat as well. Went to the gym and just ate a clicking bell.
He's just going to eat my fucking head. Yeah,
because some women were like, "Oh, you're too skinny." It's like, God, all right then, go to Clucking Bell. Take you to Clucking Bell. Date to Clucking Bell. Imagine that.
Oh, at least there's no Clucking Bell in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yet. There's probably a Easter egg that somebody's not found.
Exactly, that's where the final scene takes place, isn't it, obviously?
100 years in the future at Clucking Bell.
Just CJ with his date there. They've just thrown it in right at the end for no reason. Right, let's finish our Red Dead Redemption 2 chat there, to be returned to at a later date, probably next week, because no one's got any time to do anything else, have they?
No.
This will be it for the rest of the year, or at least until 2 weeks' time when Hitman comes out.
It's next. It's next week if you pre-order.
13th, 14th.
I think it's the 13th. I think they're doing that thing where you can play early if you pre-order, which I might do and go against all my principles if the reviews come out. You know what I'm going to do.
Like
anyway, I don't care.
It's weird, isn't it? It's just a weird like tax. Like, hey, buy our game now, and you can play it 3 days early than every other. I think that's
I think I don't know. I think a lot of them they do it with, or I'd hope the DLC comes included, because I'm going to buy the DLC anyway.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'd hope it's like, oh, you get to play 4 days early and get DLC. I'm pretty sure this one does, but it's like, I just want to give IO all my money. Like, I think I bought like Hitman on like PC as well, just because I wanted to give them more money.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know?
So it's like,
I know they were saying that they have. They're doing something with season 1, aren't they? Where they are up
retroactively, like
they're not up-resing it, but they're not upgrading they're improving on it.
Yes, they're putting all the improvements in like Hitman 2 into the first season of Hitman. So
sniper rifles,
like briefcase, like mirrors, which is really impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
When they said that it's like we want this to be an evolving platform, like I didn't really expect it to be to this extent. It's like, you know what, that's pretty good going, you know.
Completely, yeah, very much. The fact that they found the time to be able to do that as well, to return to the original code and either update it or transpose it and update it into the new system, must be a massive time sink to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I don't know how much they've streamlined that process, but it's like time that didn't need to be done. Like, nobody would have cared, nobody would expect it.
The fact that they're not now, they're essentially doing it themselves.
They're independent. Well, they are under like Warner Brothers. I know Warner Brothers are publishing Hitman 2.
Yeah, I don't know whether they've acquired IO though, have they?
No.
They're just publishing the game.
Yeah.
So
they're still independent. So
yeah. So to find that money, to find that time to allow people to do that is massive.
Yeah,
but is that available from day one?
Yes, as soon as Hitman 2 comes out, that will be available in Hitman 1. But it's like, it's crazy. But it's like, I would have bought the the collector's edition, but I don't need a briefcase or a rubber duck. You know, so it's like, I'll just buy the next tier, the one that's, you know, just the most expensive, but not where I have to get a briefcase to collect dust in my room. So it's like, which is like £80, and I'm happy to give it.
You can use it for all your papers, carrying around all your papers.
That'd be cool though, wouldn't it?
What do people use briefcases for?
I think it's like I got because I bought the Hitman Once collector's edition, which came with a statue. I got like a one of those clips that you put on a tie. It's like, I haven't worn a tie since 2008, so it's when I was at sixth form. So I was like,
I was gonna say, don't say school.
Yeah, sixth form. Yes, that's when I finished sixth form. Yes. So it's like, it's just sitting there, and it's like, so I'll probably buy this and then buy whatever DLC that comes down the road. I'll just throw them all my money, and then I can play Hitman early. I can play it 4 days early.
That's it. But if if I ever feel like going to a Halloween party dressed as Agent 47, which I have done
definitely
before,
oh my god, you have.
I'll ping you, and you can just post me the tie clip, and I can wear that.
I will.
Yeah.
You're my favourite even more now. That
does mean getting rid of this, doesn't it? Like,
just put a mask on you. You know how people put that thing over their head to make them look bold? Just do it on your chin.
Ooh, it'll be like. Well, I think the last Halloween party I went to, I dressed up as. Oh no, I didn't. No, what was the last? I can't remember. But I had definitely dressed up as Max Payne as well. Which was very fucking easy. But before the beard, when I used to shave everything, I did do a full-on Agent 47 outfit. You know, white shirt, red tie, suit. Because I seem to remember that it was at the point where they'd started to stop you going into clubs with not like replica weapons, but anything that could be used to sort of hurt someone. So, you know, even like toy plastic swords weren't allowed to be taken in.
Okay.
And I seem to remember that I cut out cardboard guns and like coloured them in with like, so I had like two massive cardboard silver ballers. Just able to like put in my like jacket pockets, just to be able to like pull out. Yeah,
and you were the coolest person there. Absolutely. Good times. Yeah, Hitman 2.
Oh yes.
Can't wait.
Yes. And like, you know, Halloween as it is now, where Evelyn wants to dress up as a cat. That's fine. We'll just all dress up as cats.
What's wrong with that? Sweary would love it.
Play the Sweary game. Oh, he'd be proud. Yes. He'd be very proud. like those people know.
Mm.
Good. Let's finish there then. Lucy,
Mm.
of your 2 beers, did you have a preference?
I think I did. It is the Delirious from Dark Revolution. The Finback and Northern Monks one. It was good. It was good. Maybe I had lofty expectations for it, but
Yeah.
I think the finish was just a tiny bit strange for me. I was expecting like the Delirious, like a traditionally bitter, like juicy, citrusy, like finish to the Northern Monk one, but it was just weird. It was
Okay.
weird in a bad way, just weird in a way that I wasn't expecting.
In an unexpected way, yeah.
Yeah, like light and sweet and slightly watery kind of finish, and yeah, I wasn't over the moon with it, but it's a very good beer. I mean, it's probably very expensive. It's a double IPA, and it's a patrons project beer, so it's probably £5 upwards. So I'd definitely over that recommend the Delirious, which I got for like £2.90. Same percentage, same style, double IPA. Very traditional in the fact that it's like citrusy, fruity at the start, and really, really, really bitter. If you're not into beers that are very bitter, maybe stay away from this one and maybe go towards the Patron Projects one. But if you're in the mood for a traditional kind of beer that doesn't taste like 8.2% and could knock back several of, especially for £2.90, buy 5 of them and you're having a party on a budget. So yeah, Delirious from Dark Revolution is my favourite.
I don't think I realised previously. I just realised that it comes in a can as well.
Yeah.
The last Dark Revolution beers I had were all bottled.
Oh really? The place I go in Coventry called Beer Gonzo, all cans. They've got quite a few. They've got about 6 cans. IPAs. There's a blueberry stout that I wanted to have on this podcast. Probably save till next week. Give that a try. But every beer that I've had from them so far has been really good.
Yeah.
But mostly IPAs. I don't think. I think I had a stout. I think it was called Velveteen, but haven't seen many other flavours. But
yeah,
we'll see in the future. But very, very impressed with them since I since I first got introduced to them, which was earlier this year. So
yeah, nice, good. I think for me, I've had 2 beers which are, without me even realising, are both collaborated with Wylam. That was the Magic Rock, not the Northern Monk, the Magic Rock on Wylam. Yeah, which was a Brut, double dry hopped Brut IPA, and a Wylam and Mad Hatter Impy Stout. And I think the Impy Stout just picks it for me this week. Well, I say just picks it for me. The Yeah is a nice beer. It's very easy. It's possibly one of the best like Brut beers that I've had. But the Feed Your Head from Mad Hatter just has an absolute ton of flavour, which is just lovely. It's really good. That sweetness which builds into those chocolate notes and builds into those coffee notes, builds into those roasted notes, has a tiny little bit of bitterness, but is wet enough that it just lasts. It's just there. It's just really nice. It's really good, and at 10%, you just don't know that it's 10% at all. It's only, the Yeah was a 500ml can, and the Feed Your Head is a 440. Yes, a 440. But I instantly know that I could smash back another one of those, or attempt to smash back another one of those. I would continuously drink Feed Your Head just all night if I could. It's so easy to drink at 10%. It's just absurd. It's just very well made. It kind of, I say it just picks it for me this week, but it kind of doesn't. It is just very good. It's really good. And it's an absolute shame that Mad Hatter are no longer going to be brewing anything. At least in their current guise. whether they are sold off and picked up by someone else to then keep going. That might be with the same or a similar brew team, depending on who kind of like stays and what happens with them, to be able to produce something like this again. But this is a really good beer.
So tips for anyone out there: do what the Dormouse told you. Pick up one of those beers and age it for 20 years.
Exactly.
And in 20 years' time...
I might have to go back and buy another one just to sit on the shelf for ages.
When it's like, oh, Mad Hatter.
Whoa.
Yeah, they came back. It's like...
Just knocked me level over.
Well, Spirit.
I was reaching for the can to see if it had a best before date on. Because we've had beers that we've kind of kept for a little while, and a lot more beers now are picking up best before dates to suggest when they're best before. I was trying to think of a different way to say that, but I can't. And it actually says it's best before the 12/08/2019. So basically a year on from when it was canned.
Yeah. I mean, stouts, they got a bit better mileage, but IPAs, double IPAs, stuff like that. I mean, saison you could age. Sours you could, but some things,
Well, there's lots of beers
drink them fresh.
There's lots of beers that you can age, but I think
God, yeah,
it's
there's always a limit on that. It's not like
there is, and oftentimes
30 years like a wine.
and oftentimes it's been aged already. So it's often been aged by the brewer. So it's very much like, we've released it now. Now it's time to drink it.
To drink it, yeah.
It's not, we're not giving this to you to put on your shelf or in your cupboard for the next sort of 5 years.
Yeah.
We have done that process for you. We made this 3 years ago. Here it is now for you to drink.
It's rare that you find a brewery that's so artisan. It's like, age it. Go ahead.
But I mean, it is the same with wine. When they release it, they release it and they will put the date on it that it was made. It's for consumption now. And I've always had with red wine, not bad experiences, but most of the time when I find something that's been sat there for 3 or 4 years, it's not that great because it's not made to do that. The only time I've ever had a good wine is when Kim's dad died. Kim and her mum found a few bottles of wine, French wine, that was maybe like 10, 15 years old, something like that. And we were thinking, it's not going to be very good. It's been sat here for absolutely ages. But Kim went, I think it wasn't that long after her dad died. She was like, we've got this wine. We're having a really good evening. Let's just crack this open. Let's enjoy it. We've got friends around. Let's enjoy this wine. And it was really fucking good. Shit. Okay. Maybe some wine, was meant for just taking home and just does work really well in the bottle, just aging. But I think beer is a slightly different beast in that regard. Yes.
And just like you, Ben, getting better with age.
Hey!
Happy birthday.
Hooray! Yeah, mate, just. As I said, fucking smashed a backload of Jaeger last night, and I felt it this morning. Absolutely felt it.
As I say, after 22, it's no chance you're not going to feel it.
Yeah, and I'm a bit further on from then as well, so it's...
just a little.
unless you're adult and you've got a mutant power where you don't get hangovers, irrelevant of what you fucking drink. I don't know what that boy does, but...
I don't know if it's the altitude in Canada or something like that, but I'm sorry, but how is that even possible?
He's more like a lizard. He's got such a low body temperature from just all of the harsh winters in Canada.
Yes.
He just deals with it a lot better than we do.
He just stays close to the ground, picks up the heat from the ground, and the alcohol just trades heat for soil.
That's it. Just instant, just
into the soil.
Straight through.
Heat for alcohol. Just what a weird human being. We miss you, Adele.
Come back from your Halloween party. Come and see us. Yeah. To be fair, I am going out drinking with him tomorrow night, so it's fine.
Oh, good. Oh,
Stout
yes,
night,
you're
mate.
going to Stout night. Yes,
Stout night.
that's what it was. Yes.
Hooray! Well up for Stout Night.
Yeah.
So, Lucy, if people want to talk to you, they want to talk to you about beers or games, Red Dead Redemption 2, how do they do that?
Tanked Up Lucy on Twitter or Juicy Loose 9 on Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation, and Untapped.
Nice. I was going to launch into mine, but that 10% beer is just kicked in. I'm just starting to feel it a little bit now. And it happened with my mobile number earlier in the week when I was leaving a voicemail message for someone and went, I can't remember my mobile number, so you've got my details.
The thing is that like you can never remember your mobile, writing it down or reciting it to someone.
Yep.
But you know it in your head.
But that's it. As soon as I put the phone down, like, I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Age, mate. This is what it is. It's age. Age and too many fucking 10% beers. Yes, at Nova _ What were we talking about, man? At Nova _ 47 on PlayStation, on Steam, on Twitter. We are at Tanked Up _ Cast on Twitter. You should go to outoflives.net to look at articles, listen to all the other podcasts, and see what everyone else over there is doing. I chucked up a alternative list for the PlayStation Classic, or at least games that I would have liked to see on the PlayStation Classic last week. Those games have now been revealed for the PlayStation Classic.
And they suck.
Yeah. There's a couple of games on there that I had on my list, like Cool Borders 2 and Destruction Derby, although I put Destruction Derby 2 on my list because it was better. I think that is all that kind of crossed over. Mine was very much a put Tony Hawk's on, put Dave Mirra BMX Freestyle BMX on there, Cool Borders, like trick style games, a few racing, like stuff that I was into during that kind of like generation. But it's
everyone has their own list.
They do.
So really, it should have just been, here are the games that made the PlayStation, and there's so many. The thing is that this doesn't even make sense because these games are not good to play nowadays. There's better versions of these games that have been remade, and there's just better, iterations of these genres. I mean, who the hell is gonna play Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six on that thing? Can you imagine? It's like going back to play GoldenEye. Who's gonna do that? And it's like if you're gonna make something that's completely nostalgic and something like that, you have to get the essentials, like Castlevania Symphony of the Night. You have to get that on there. Yeah, you have to get Resident 2 on there.
I thought Castlevania, and again, I thought both Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Resident Evil 2 were long shots for it because Resident Evil 2 has the remake in the works, and Symphony of the Night has just re-released. Yeah. With like Rondo of Blood, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And,
don't get me wrong. It's
Requiem. So
don't get me wrong. It's obvious why they're not on there, like Crash and Spyro. It's just something that's been completely hamstrung by business decisions. Yeah. The fact that those games are not fun to play nowadays. I mean, I love the PlayStation, so don't call me a hater, but it's bizarre. It doesn't make any sense. I think they should have come out. They obviously want to catch the lightning in the bottle that Nintendo got, but they should have come out in 5 years when all of these games have been remade, and that's it. And it's like,
that's it. Like, there's no Medieval included, and we then we get the Medieval because it's being made because it's getting a remake. Like,
that's still so strange to me. It's like Medieval's a very good game. I enjoyed that game, but it's just weird. It's weird.
I'm gonna play it. I really like Medieval when it came
out. Yeah. It's weird though.
It is weird. Yeah, it is weird. So if you want to read about a list that I would like on the PlayStation Classic, you can do so. I think ultimately I surmised that it's probably better just to go out and buy a second-hand PlayStation and play whatever the fucking games you want by just picking them up second-hand.
The thing is that I'd only want it just for the form factor of it, like how sweet and little it is. Like I don't know, like this.
It's like tiny. Like
this. But it's like I I've played a lot of games on the SNES Classic, so it also has like a, other than being looking pretty, it also has a function. I would never even dare to go back to those PlayStation 1 games because they don't hold up. They just don't. So it'd be, as I was saying to you, it'd be just be a paperweight and a very expensive one. Sell it to me for £40. I'll buy it just because it looks nice.
Yeah, it's very £90 is a lot of money for what it is.
Absolutely. No. That's like a Hitman and change.
That's true. That is very
Hitman 2
true.
and change.
Yeah. Oh well, maybe they'll hit it better with the PlayStation 2 Classic, whenever that comes out.
That I'll get.
In next year or in 2 years' time.
If they don't knock it out of the park with that, I'll just be like, Sony, what are you doing?
I mean, how can you not with the PlayStation 2?
It needs to be more than 20 games on PlayStation 2 because literally about 16,000 came out on PlayStation 2. And 90%, if it doesn't come with like Def Jam Vendetta and 50 cents Bulletproof, no buy. No buy. I'm sorry.
Oh, there's so many fucking good games on the PlayStation 2.
Best console ever made.
Yeah,
my opinion.
Definitely. I agree with that completely. So a good place to finish, in agreement on the best console ever made. We've done all of the plugs, so it's just left for me to say bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.